News' Josh Chapin has been very closely tracking every development in this takeover, and he's on the National Mall tonight with new reaction to the D.C. Attorney General's lawsuit.
Scott, we asked Mayor Bowser about the lawsuit, and she deferred our question to the Attorney General's office. She said that her main focus continues to be getting the district out of the emergency. Other community members reacting as well tonight. Along the National Mall Thursday, we spotted more National Guard members out on patrol.
I love it. I love seeing them here. It makes me feel safer here. And this is my second time here, and I've never seen crime, but I always hear it on the news all the time.
That's where we stopped and talked with Jamie Eller, his daughter, starting her third year at the Naval Academy in Annapolis. He's here in D.C. for a quick visit.
I love the National Guard. I love our military. I love America. And if they're here to keep citizens safer, great. I'm all for it. More power to us.
The D.C. Attorney General Thursday filing a lawsuit to block the deployment of the Guard, alleging it is violating the Constitution by using the military for local law enforcement.
I applaud him and his team for filing this lawsuit.
Robert White is an at-large member of the D.C. Council.
The occupation in D.C. is both illegal and unwelcome, and so as residents and faith leaders stand out to say it is unwelcome and push back on that front, we need our Attorney General and the courts fighting that fight.
White attending a prayer vigil outside the Capitol Thursday with a handful of D.C. faith leaders.
We're concerned because it seems as if things have gone off the rails.
Mayor Bowser continuing to say her main focus is getting out of the emergency, but she did offer this about the National Guard.
I know that there's a lot of reporting about how weary they are, and I get that because deployments are hard. People are away from their families, and they may not necessarily think they're on mission. So I think that the deployments themselves are running their course.
The Associated Press reporting Thursday that the members of the D.C. National Guard have had their orders extended through December. That extension ensures that they get their pay and their benefits for a mission that could go months longer. Along the National Mall, I'm Josh Chapin, 7 News.
Josh, thank you. And despite the Guard's extended deployment, President Trump's federal takeover of the D.C. Police Department is still set to expire in less than a week. He is only allowed 30 days. Any further control must be passed into law. And here are the latest numbers on this operation from the White House. So far, they've made more than 1,800 arrests and have recovered almost 200 illegal guns. We speak now. Tonight marks the last Friday in President Trump's federal takeover of the D.C. Police Department, at least right now. It is set to expire in just 5 days. But even with the end in sight, critics are still pushing back. 7 News' Liana Golden is in Navy Yard tonight with why.
Well, there are National Guard members at just about every corner here in Navy Yard. A big group of them here at New Jersey Avenue and M Street, and then across the intersection here near this park, and then down the block where protesters are still chanting this evening. They picked this spot because of the sheer amount of National Guard members here. They want to fight back against what they say is an unfair and unnecessary show of force from their president. Dozens showing up and letting soldiers and federal agents hear it, telling them, quote, get out and go home. And despite their angst over not knowing exactly how long the surge could go on, it was peaceful as they spread out to take their message all around the district. But the White House insisting it is working, pointing to 1,914 total arrests have been made since this operation began back on August 7th. 198 weapons have been seized. 50 homeless encampments have been cleared. President Trump deployed the National Guard to fight crime on the streets of D.C., as he puts it. If you don't think that deploying soldiers to the streets is the answer, what do you think is?
I mean, you just got to look at Chicago. The mayor said the other day, I think maybe yesterday, that you can't incarcerate your way out of crime. You know what I mean? You can't incarcerate your way into public safety. But they've been showing by investing into the community, into mental health facilities, you know, into jobs for the youth, into, you know, housing for families, healthcare, and all these other things, that they have been able to reduce crime.
Now there's another much bigger protest planned for tomorrow. People are gathering at Malcolm X Park, otherwise known as Meridian Hill Park in Northwest, and heading downtown. In Navy Yard this evening, I'm Liana Golden, 7 News.
Good afternoon, I'm Michelle Marsh, and first at noon, we have the very latest on the federal takeover in D.C. Right now, there are no plans to extend the takeover past tomorrow, but we are tracking several proposals on Capitol Hill that would upend D.C.'s home rule and change punishment for teens and violent offenders. Meanwhile, students from 4 major D.C. college campuses are staging a walkout. This is a look at students at Georgetown University. This afternoon, students at American and George Washington universities plan to do the same. Organizers call the federal takeover unconstitutional and dangerous. Communities in Ward 7 and 8 are seeking attention from federal officers. Despite the crime crackdown over the past month, 2 men have been shot and killed, and a 3-year-old was killed by a stray bullet. 7 News on your side asked the mayor, the White House, and several federal authorities, where is that local collaboration? Not one of them has given us a straight answer, despite requests from local activists who even offered a list of 60 hotspots prone to dangerous activity.
Honestly, over here, I haven't seen anything.
They need to be over in these areas that really have a need.
Well, yes, it's a problem over here.
So if they'll be open to meeting with us, we'll be open to meeting with them.
Local community-based groups have not been included in any of these conversations.
Where are they?
Now they say the city needs a more effective plan to reduce crime even more. A decades-long peace vigil.
Yeah, if you've taken pictures here at the White House, you can't miss it. This setup here, known as a peace vigil, has stood here at Lafayette Square across the street from the White House for more than 40 years, promoting anti-war messages and nuclear disarmament. Volunteers say it has never been a shelter or a homeless encampment, but rather a symbol of protest manned around the clock. Well, early Sunday morning, U.S. Park Police dismantled the vigil's tents, citing safety concerns for visitors to the White House. But volunteers claim this is a civil rights issue, arguing that it has always been protected under the First Amendment. The action comes as part of a larger federal initiative in D.C., which the president says is aimed at beautifying the city and ensuring public safety.
We could hear Secret Service discussing how they would go about removing this peace vigil, which again is the longest standing peace protest in North America, if not the world.
When you go to a protest, you get your fair share of abuse. And this is what's today. Tomorrow will be something else.
So you're saying there's a blue tent?
It's been there for 30 plus years. It was originally a peace tent, but it's kind of morphed into something.
Yeah, morphed into radical left. Okay.
Well, but I've heard.
Is it in the Ellipse? Where is it?
No, it's in Lafayette Park. It's actually
Lafayette Park. Take it down.
Now, the site has no beds here at Lafayette Square. No weapons were found in the tents over the weekend, and the volunteers dispute claims that it poses any hazard, describing the removal as a politically motivated move. This vigil began in 1981 under activist William Thomas. Reporting outside of the White House, John Gonzalez, 7 News.
Decades-long peace vigil outside the White House was partially removed this weekend after a direct order from President Trump. Protesters were evacuated for a time this weekend and tents were removed. So what happens next? 7 News' John Gonzalez is live near the White House this morning and has the details and what the volunteers of the vigil are saying. So, John, what led to this action?
Yeah, Adriana, good morning. You know, if you've taken pictures here at the White House, you can't miss it. This setup here at Lafayette Square, known as a peace vigil, has stood across from the White House for more than 40 years, promoting anti-war messages and nuclear disarmament. Well, volunteers say it was never a shelter or a homeless encampment, but rather a symbol of protest manned around the clock. Well, early Sunday morning, U.S. Park Police dismantled the vigil's tents, citing safety concerns for visitors to the White House. But volunteers claim it's a civil rights issue, arguing that it has always been protected under the First Amendment. The action comes as part of a larger federal initiative here in D.C., which the president says is aimed at beautifying the city and ensuring public safety. The peace protesters are still here this morning, even though their shelter has been removed. They are confused as to what will happen next.
We could hear Secret Service discussing how they would go about removing this peace vigil, which again is the longest standing peace protest in North America, if not the world.
When you go to a protest, you get your fair share of abuse. And this is what's today. Tomorrow will be something else.
So you're saying there's a blue tent?
It's been there for 30 plus years. It was originally a peace tent, but it's kind of morphed into something.
Yeah, morphed into radical left. Okay.
Well, but I've heard.
Is it in the Ellipse? Where is it?
No, it's in Lafayette Park. It's actually
Lafayette Park. Take it down.
Now, the site has no beds, no weapons were found over the weekend in the tents, and the volunteers dispute claims that it poses any hazard, describing the removal as a politically motivated move. The vigil began in 1981 under activist William Thomas. We'll keep a very close eye on the situation here at Lafayette Square. Reporting live, John Gonzalez, 7 News.